All right, everyone. Hello. Uh, I know some of you are back from online and are now with us again in the classroom, and you may or may not be here on this particular day. And so, those that have not been around, I've been trying to keep up and posting videos of what was done in class every day, every day. And so, this is, again, another one of those videos. So, we just finished with the chemistry semester. And I guess I could move myself over here in the middle. We just finished with the chemistry semester and are going to be starting now the physics semester. So, chemistry, again, we're dealing with atoms and molecules and particle behavior. And so, we did a lot of stuff with that. But the beginning of the year, we started with graphing and we're doing data analysis. And so, we're going back to that. Last time we did anything with a graph was for density. I don't know if you remember that, but that was first quarter, probably near the end of the first quarter. And we were doing density graphs and finding the slopes of a mass volume graph, which actually is density. So that's the last time we had kind of looked at this whole graph situation. And now you see, in front of you, below me here on the screen, some y equals mx plus b stuff. Now, those of you that are in geometry this year, this stuff, you've seen this. This was last year's stuff. Now, it may be so long that you've kind of forgotten about some of this since you're doing mostly geometry now. But those of you that are in algebra currently, you should be involved in this stuff as we speak. So we need to kind of get ourselves back into the graphing mindset here and how to deal with data. So before, we didn't even get to this whole y equals mx plus b. I usually wait till the second semester because you've started to dabble with this again in math class, which will then help us in science. So we're going to take that and we're going to actually use it using the data that we collect and the things that we look at with the variables that are part of our physics content. So with the y equals mx plus b, you may or may not be very familiar with what each of these things even represents. But when we have a graph and it happens to be linear, and by linear we mean a straight line, could be a positive slope line, could be a negative slope line, but it is not a curve, okay? Not curving over, not curving up, not curving inverse. So it is not a curve, then that would be what we consider linear, which is described mathematically by this equation. Okay, this equation is the equation that represents a line that is straight on a graph. The four parts have very specific meaning. Okay, you need to make sure you write this down and have this in your brain. Okay, the y of y equals mx plus b represents the name of the y-axis variable. Okay, it is the variable, the y-axis variable. Not a number. See, a name is going to go in, or a symbol for a name would go into this equation. M, which people don't like. People don't like the fact that there's names and letters and not numbers everywhere. But there are not numbers everywhere, which I'll get to in a second. The slope of the line. The M is the symbol for the slope of the line. That is a number. There will be a number with a unit of measure on it, which we've done. We've done that part. You have found the slopes of the graphs. In fact, the last time you did this with the density stuff, you actually used the graphical analysis app. You put your data in. It told you, it gave you a good best fit. It told you what the slope was. So you didn't even have to calculate it yourself. So that's the slope. We got to get back to a little bit of review of how to do all of that. So that's what this next assignment is going to be about for today. X then is the name of the variable that's on the x-axis. Again, it's a name. Could be a symbol, a letter, but it's a name. And then the last part, the B part, which most people have issues with and make mistakes with, is it's called the y-intercept. It's not the thing on the y-axis. It's literally the point, the value of the point where your line crosses the y-axis, where it intersects with the y-axis, where the line on the graph crosses the y-axis. That is the y-intercept, and it's a number. It's a value. So the m, the slope, a value, a number. B, a number, an actual value. The y and the x, not numbers. They are names of variables. What is a variable? The root is vary, not V-E-R-Y. V-E-R-Y means like a lot. Vary. V-A-R-Y means to change. So these variable things, okay, they can change. They don't have a single value. So there's not just a number that goes in there. There could be a bunch of different numbers. A bunch of different values could be those two variables. So whatever's on the y-axis, there's a whole bunch of y values. And whatever's on the x-axis, there's a whole bunch of x values. There's only one slope, and there's only one place that it crosses the y-axis. So those two are definite. They only have one value, one number for each. But the y's and the x's, they're all sorts of different values. So we can't just pick one. They are a variable, okay? That's key. Now, with that said, you will then look on Classroom, I hope anyway, and you will see this assignment here, which is some data of a child that grows up over the years, and it has age in years and then height in inches, and then this is the data. The height of the child as the years go by. And you need to be able to plot this data into a graph form, draw a best fit for the data, find the slope, and then go on through and answer the questions that are in the worksheet here. Now, I tell you in this first little line here, it says age is manipulative variable and height is responsive. I'm hoping you remember where each of those goes, okay? In other words, the height of the child is dependent on or responds to the child's age, okay? You get taller because you got older. You don't get older because you got taller. Do you see what I mean here? I hope you're... So which one depends on the other determines which one is responsive. Now see the manipulative part, nobody's manipulating this stuff. So the age is not being manipulated, but it is changing and nobody can control that. So age just goes on its own, okay? But the height of the child depends on the child's age or is responsive to the child's age. And so I'm telling you which variable is which. And that means responsive is on the y. That's what we've always said. The responsive is on the y, the manipulative is on the x. Responsive on the y, manipulative on the x. So make sure you're setting the graph up correctly, right? Then you'll get the points plotted, you'll draw a best fit, you'll find a slope, and then you'll go on and answer some of the rest of these things. It actually walks you through which variable is which by name, and then you're going to start to actually fill in the y equals mx plus b equation with the information from the graph. That's the goal, okay? So this will then be done in your comp books. You will snap a picture of that and upload it, and we'll get on with the physics semester. So hopefully that was enough to get you going, get you started, and I will see you next time we have class. Take care. Be safe.